Every time you blink, the world rearranges itself slightly. Somewhere, another version of you regrets the choices you haven't made yet. You've forgotten more dreams than you've lived days. The walls in your house remember every word you've spoken. A stranger's journal is filled with your handwriting. The stars above you tonight are not the same as last night's. Every old photograph hides one face you were never meant to notice. Someone has been keeping track of your forgotten moments. You woke up crying, but the tears weren't yours. A mirror you've never seen has been watching you. The silence after midnight isn't empty, it's crowded with unfinished thoughts. You've seen your face in the reflection of a stranger's eyes. Somewhere, a door opened the moment you blinked. The forest stopped moving when you stepped inside. You once laughed at a joke no one had told yet. A shadow passed through your body, and for a second, it wasn't yours. The moon doesn't just watch, it waits. You've stood in the same footprint twice, centuries apart. The ground remembers every step you've taken. Someone once whispered, "Not yet," when you woke suddenly. The clock ticked 13 times before resetting. You've been homesick for places that don't exist. A stranger waved at you, but they weren't waving at today's you. The air shifts differently when something unseen passes by. Every lock you've touched has remembered your hand. A shadow lingered long after you left the room. Someone else cried your tears last night. The silence grew heavier the longer you ignored it. You've spoken names in your sleep that you've never heard awake. Somewhere, your story already ended. Your reflection sometimes lags on purpose, the mirror fogged with words you never said. A photograph of you exists from before you were born. Every skipped heartbeat belongs to someone else's story. The night doesn't fall, it listens. You once felt a hand on your shoulder, but no one was there. Someone is waiting for you in your dreams tonight. Your shadow waved without you. A door slammed shut, though there was no wind. You've woken up to dirt on your shoes you don't own. The forest whispers in languages no one remembers. You've seen yourself standing in the distance. Somewhere, your future self is watching you now. The air tastes different when something is near. A voice called your name today, but it came from inside your thoughts. The floorboards creak when you're standing still. Someone you've never met remembers your childhood. Your reflection tilted its head the wrong way. The stars are windows, and one is open tonight. You've walked into a room that didn't exist yesterday. A child once asked if you remembered them. The whisper you heard wasn't meant for you. Someone has been sketching your face since childhood. Every chair you've sat in remembers your weight. The darkness bends when it hears your name. Someone has drawn maps to places you've only dreamed of. You've smiled in a photo you never took. The walls leaned closer when you spoke. A stranger touched your arm and whispered, "Found you." Your reflection lingered after you left. The wind carries words you weren't supposed to hear. You've passed yourself in a dream and didn't notice. Somewhere, your laughter still echoes inside an abandoned place. A knock came from beneath the floorboards. Someone once sighed when you woke up. You dreamed of a door, and someone else dreamed of opening it. Every candle you've blown out still burns somewhere else. The shadows stretch differently when you don't look. You've whispered secrets you didn't know you had. Someone has been writing your story word by word. Your name is carved in places older than language. The night air grows heavier when it remembers you. Somewhere, your footsteps echo endlessly. You've seen your reflection smile first. A light flickered when you entered the room. Someone is keeping count of every tear you've shed. The silence leaned closer as you tried to ignore it. You've heard your laugh echo back differently. A stranger greeted you with, "Welcome back." The ground held your footprints longer than it should. Someone knows you by a name you don't recognize. The stars shifted when you blinked. You felt homesick for a life you've never lived. A door you never opened still remembers your hand. Somewhere, your voice speaks in a language you don't know. The reflection in the window mouthed different words. Someone is still waiting for you in a place you've never been. You've been followed by footsteps that weren't yours. The whisper repeated itself, but not in your voice. A shadow overlapped your own. You've seen your face in places you've never visited. The silence between heartbeats isn't empty. Someone dreamed of your death, but you haven't died yet. The forest fell silent because it was listening for you. Your reflection smirked when you didn't. A photograph tilted back after you straightened it. You've written words in your sleep you can't read awake. Someone hummed your favorite song before it was written. The night hides the things daylight refuses to explain. You've woken to find your bed turned slightly. A shadow passed by, but no one cast it. Someone else remembers the day you never lived. Your voice whispered from the static of silence. The clock ticked in sync with your heart until it didn't. You've walked past the same moment twice. Someone else's breath fogged your mirror. The night swallowed the sound of your footsteps. You've stood in the exact spot before, centuries apart. A reflection blinked before you did. Someone whispered, "Don't look up." The shadows in your room grew darker with the light on. You once saw a door where no wall should be. Someone laughed using your voice. The air thickened when you almost remembered. You've heard your name whispered by silence. Somewhere, your laugh belongs to someone else. You've been spoken of in whispers tonight. A child drew your face without knowing you. The stars above blinked in a pattern only you saw. Your shadow stepped forward before you. Someone wrote your name on glass you never touched. The forest paths rearrange when you close your eyes. You've forgotten something the world hasn't. Someone sighed through your lips. The silence grew louder when you listened harder. You've woken once already today and forgot. Someone has been telling your story in the dark. The moon turned its face toward you. You once heard your voice from behind you. And when you finish these words, you'll wonder if this was the first time. The mirror cracked last night, but only on the side where your reflection stood. You wake up to find a note in your handwriting that simply says, "Don't look outside." A stranger dreamed about your house, but their dream had one extra room. Your reflection blinked a second too late. The photograph on your wall changed. Someone else is standing beside you. The footsteps you hear upstairs never match the rooms you have. Your phone shows a picture in the gallery you never took. A stranger said, "See you tomorrow," but you've never met them before. Tonight, the clock struck 13 before resetting itself. You wave at your reflection, and it doesn't wave back. Someone whispered your full name from inside your locked closet. You picked up a book at random, and it ended with today's date. The person you passed on the street had your exact face. You woke up with dirt on your shoes you don't own. A shadow lingered in your room last night, but it wasn't yours. Someone else is humming your favorite song outside your window at 3 a.m. Your childhood drawing appears on a wall in a city you've never been. The elevator stopped at a floor that doesn't exist. A knock at the door came, but no one was outside and the doorknob was warm. You woke up to find your reflection already awake, staring. Somewhere, your name is written on a wall that no one can reach. You've forgotten more dreams than you've lived days. A voice in your head once whispered in a language you don't know. The stars above you tonight aren't the same as last night. A stranger's diary has your handwriting on every page. Someone keeps leaving a seat for you at empty tables. The wind carries words you were never meant to hear. A shadow passed by, but no one cast it. Every time you blink, the world rearranges slightly. Somewhere, another version of you regrets a choice you haven't made yet. The door you never opened still remembers you tried. Sometimes silence itself grows heavy as though it's watching. Someone remembers you from a day you never lived. The ground beneath you has been listening to every step. Every mirror hides a copy of you that doesn't want to come back. You woke up humming a song that doesn't exist. The forest holds conversations you were not meant to overhear. Someone dreamed your death, but you haven't died yet. A voice called your name today, but it came from behind your thoughts. Every star is a window, and tonight one is open. You found a key in your pocket, but it doesn't fit any lock. The laughter you heard wasn't yours, though it came from your mouth. Every candle you've ever blown out still burns somewhere else. A door closed by itself, and something on the other side. Somewhere, your face appears in photographs of strangers. The shadow of your hand on the wall moved before your hand did. Someone is still waiting for you in a place you've never been. The sound of footsteps follows you even when you stop. A picture frame in your house tilts back every time you fix it. Sometimes the world holds its breath when you enter a room. You once woke up crying, but the dream wasn't yours. Every chair you've sat in remembers your weight. A reflection smiled after you stopped. You saw a stranger today who looked at you like you were already gone. Somewhere, your laughter echoes inside an abandoned building. The air changes just before something notices you. A photograph of you exists from before you were born. You felt a hand on your shoulder, but you were alone. Every lock you've ever touched has remembered your hand. The whisper in the night repeated itself, but not in your voice. The clock skipped a second, but your heart didn't. A bird outside your window sang your name. Someone once spoke to you in a dream, but you woke with their tears. The shadows in your room are longer than they should be. Your reflection sometimes lingers after you leave. You felt homesick for places that don't exist. Somewhere, your story is already finished. The night doesn't fall, it waits. A child pointed at you and said, "That one." The silence between heartbeats isn't empty. Someone else remembers your childhood better than you do. The mirror fogged with words you never spoke. You dreamed of a door, and someone else dreamed of opening it. The air hums differently when it knows your secrets. A stranger carries a photograph of you, smiling. Every time you shiver, something has passed by. The moon doesn't just watch, it waits. Your footsteps echoed even when you stopped walking. Someone else cried your tears last night. You saw your shadow wave without you. The night sky hides faces in the stars. You've spoken a name in your sleep that isn't yours. The forest stopped moving the moment you looked at it. Someone is writing your story word by word. A voice whispered, "Not yet," when you woke suddenly. Every photograph is missing something you'll never notice. You've dreamed of the same stranger more than once. The silence grows louder when you try to ignore it. A mirror cracked the moment you turned away. You've seen your face in places you've never been. Someone else finished the sentence you never spoke. The night hides the things daylight can't explain. Your shadow doesn't always match your movements. Somewhere, your name is the last word someone will ever say. You've smiled in a photo you never took. The floor creaks when you stand still. Someone has been keeping track of your forgotten moments. The sky above you is different when you look twice. A child once asked if you remembered them. You've been followed by footsteps that aren't yours. The whisper you heard wasn't meant for you. A clock in another room ticks in time with your heart. Someone knows you by a name you don't recognize. The night air carries stories that never happened. You've walked past yourself before. A stranger greeted you with, "Welcome back." The walls in your house remember every word. You've seen your reflection frown while you smiled. Somewhere, your future self is watching you now. The darkness bends when it hears your name. You once heard your laugh echo back differently. A door slammed shut, but no wind blew. Someone has drawn maps to places you've only dreamed of. Your voice whispered from the radio static. The stars shifted while you blinked. You felt a breath on your neck, but no one was near. Someone hummed your favorite song before it was written. Every tear you've shed has been counted. The silence in the room leaned closer. You once woke to find your bed facing the wrong way. Somewhere you're being spoken of in whispers. Your reflection smirked when you didn't. A shadow passed through you once. Someone is telling your story in the dark. The ground held onto your footprints too long. You've woken up to a sound that never existed. Somewhere, your laugh belongs to someone else. The air thickens when you're almost seen. You've seen your face in a stranger's eyes. The whisper in the wind wasn't random. You once saw yourself standing in the distance. A light flickered when you entered the room. Someone has dreamed your life before you lived it. The night remembers more than the day. You've forgotten something the world hasn't. A stranger touched your arm and said, "Found you." Your name has been spoken in places you'll never reach.